On behalf of Salam Media, we are extremely honored to be here this afternoon at the Nelson Mandela University. Now, this broadcast is going out live on our various social media platforms and also on Salam Media's YouTube platforms. And we'd like to thank the MSA and the organizers upfront for facilitating this session with Abeer Zayyad. Now, just a bit of introduction with regard to Salam Media. Salam Media is based in Johannesburg, and around 2015, the radio started with one purpose, and the ethos and the motivation behind starting Salam Media was humanitarian journalism. And this is about telling human stories, humanitarian stories, but more importantly, focusing on the injustices and the oppression that takes place right across the entire world. And when we talk about oppression, we talk about injustice. And the first place that comes to mind is Palestine. And Palestine has been a hotbed of oppression and the degradation of the people of Palestine to the point where the Zionist entity of Israel don't even consider them to be human. Now, in the past, for many of us that have grown up on universities, on campuses, and we've seen over the years how universities, the MSAs in particular, have been at the forefront of the struggle against apartheid in South Africa, but also at the same time, the struggle for Palestine. So, those of us who have been to university know exactly the level of activism that was required in those years, and in 2023 the situation is no different. In fact, it's actually gone worse for the people of Palestine, and this is the reason why we at Salam Media have brought Abeer Zayyad for the second time to South Africa. She was here in 2017, and it's our very first trip to this beautiful city of Port Elizabeth. And the purpose behind bringing Abeer Zayyad here is initiating an educational campaign, but also at the same time to highlight the importance of the struggle for Palestine, to appreciate the struggles of the people of Palestine, and more importantly, to also look at what is the future. And at this point in time, the tour to South Africa by Abeer Zayyad has highlighted some critical issues, some important issues, and issues that we need to be concerned about with regard to the future of Al-Aqsa in particular. Now, we always maintain the fact that this is not a Muslim issue, this is a humanitarian issue. And earlier on, we had a meeting with various schools, and the message that came out strong, loud and clear, that as much as Muslim Palestinians are suffering, Christian Palestinians are suffering as well. We've seen the reduction of the Palestinian population over the years with the land grabs, with the settlers, with village after village that has been taken over. And as a result, we've seen 75 years of the Nakba being commemorated yesterday. Now, Abeer Zayyad, just to tell you a bit about her, is she is an archaeologist by profession, but also highly educated. She is an educational tour guide. She is also historically, she's been with the School of the History of Palestine, the Center of Modern Technology in Bethlehem. She's been the director of the Jerusalem branch of the Society for the Protection of Nature. She's been a teaching assistant with the Department of Archaeology at Al-Quds University. And for those of us who have been to Palestine, know that she is a free guide. And being the archaeological expert that she is so well placed, not only to unpack the problem of Palestine and Al-Aqsa in particular from an archaeological perspective, but also looking at it from a social perspective, a socio-political perspective, and also highlighting the humanitarian condition of the inhabitants of Jerusalem. So without much ado, we'd like to call on our honored guest, Abeer Zayyad, to address you. And we will also have a Q&A after she does her presentation.
Assalamu alaikum. Palestine and Jerusalem is a big issue for everybody, and it's connected with each one of us. It does not matter what is your religion, but you will be connected with Jerusalem. Jerusalem is a place that you will have all faith on it. And for a long, long time in history, this place was living in a harmony. And all religion can practice their religion without any kind of a problem. The problem starts when we become under the British occupation. And from that moment, when the British promised to give our land to Zionist movement, it started a problem. Because to take a land from one nation and to give it to people for political movement, colonialism political movement, to come and to take over the place, this is a big, big problem. And to achieve the goal of that Zionist movement or that colonialism, they use massacres, killing, evacuate people from their villages, erase villages completely from being exist in the world. And this thing has not ever stopped. It's continuous. And it affects all religion in Palestine, not only Muslims. Muslims are more affected because they are the majority. But all religion in Palestine are affected. We give in the last lecture an example about the percentage of a Christian in Jerusalem. The percentage of a Christian in Jerusalem before 1948, it was 40% from Jerusalemites. After West Jerusalem was occupied and the killing that happened in West Jerusalem and kicking out the people, the percentage for Christian, it dropped immediately to 20, from 40% to 20. After the occupation in 1967 till today, the percentages become 2%. So from 40%, you arrive to 2%. People was kicked out, run away, lost their homes, lost their villages completely. And of course, this affects the whole Palestinian population. But I give you one of the examples about the percentage of Christian, how it was affected because of that. You can imagine it's the main important city for Christianity, but the number of a Christian was dropped so high now. So, Israel, from the beginning, they want to take the whole Palestine. And they does not want to have anyone that are not from Zionist movement, even if he was a Jew. And because of that, you will find some of Jews are facing difficulty of living under this apartheid system, like Naturi Carter, like a different kind of Jew, we call them the Sumerian. So it's different. So it's a difficult situation in each one that he's not supporting Zionists. And even the Jewish themselves, not only these groups, if anyone is standing against what Israel is doing, he will be in danger also. So the main place that Israel or Zionist movement want to take it is Jerusalem and especially Al-Aqsa Mosque. Why? Because Israel and Zionist movement, from the beginning, they use that place and the occupation as an occupation before 3,000 years as an excuse to occupy us today. So what they say that before 3,000 years that Bani Israel, the old Jew, that they entered to Palestine as an army and they occupied Palestine after they fight with the Canaanite. And because of that, they become having a controlling of the Canaanite land. And this is the excuse that they have it to occupy us. So they become saying that their own land because they occupied us once before 3,000 years. Is exactly, we give more than one example about a lot of European country was occupied by Rome before 2,000 years. So Rome was almost controlled the whole Europe. So now Italy have the right to choose any European country that they want, and they can go and say, we was occupying this country before 2,000 years, so we have the right to kick the people out and to occupy it again. They was there before 2,000 years, and no one can deny that Rome was controlled most of Europe before 2,000 years. So it's okay for the Italian now. They have the right, like what the Zionists have the right to come and occupy us. Is that okay? Does the European country will accept that? So why is it okay to happen this against us? And at least the Rome have a proof that they occupied this country. But Zionists, they does not have any archaeological proof that they was there before 3,000 years. It just stories, does not have any archaeological evidence for it. So this is a huge difference. Some say, yeah, but Judaism was exist in Palestine. Yes, Judaism was exist in Palestine, but when and how and whom? Judaism was exist in Palestine 500 BC, not before 3,000 years, and does not forget that Jerusalem itself, it was established before 10,000 years. So even if they was there before 3,000 years, so you have 1,000 years for Jerusalem established before Bani Israel. But let's say that about Judaism itself. From archaeology point of view, the first evidence for Judaism as exists as a religion in Palestine, it was 500 BC. And most, let's say, third of the Palestinian in that time, they become Jew. And it's okay. These Jew, these Palestinian, they changed their religion after that to Christianity. So the majority of Palestine become Christian. After that, when Islam came as a religion, people little by little start shifting to Islam, not immediately. It's not like it's a shift like that. It's not like that. Little by little, year after year, the people had changed their religion to Islam. So now the majority are Muslims. So they are the same people, they change their religion. Changing your religion does not changing your ethnic. Okay, so each one of you, if you go to your ancestors before 1,000 years or 2,000 years, check what their religion was. You will find that their religion was not Islam or Christianity or whatever your religion is today. It was a different religion and they shift. But shifting their religion, it is not shifting whom they are. So we as a Palestinian, shifting our religion does not changing our ethnic as a Canaanite. Even Israel tried to make an anthropology study about us to prove that we are not the Canaanite. But the study came out with the result that Israel does not like it, which proved that we are the Canaanite. So let's say that we had taken example today, Swedish. Swedish, they used to be Vikings, and the Viking religion is completely different than Christianity. So let's say that now a group from South Africa people decide to become in the same religion like Vikings. So they have the right to go and to kick the Swedish people out from their country because they become on the religion of the Vikings. And that is the religion of that country before thousands of years. So they deserve the country more than the native people that they are living there. So is that okay? So how it will be okay to come to kick us out because of that. You know, the majority of Zionist Jew, especially the European one, they become Jew in the 15th century. They does not have any connection from ethnic point of view with the old Jew. And even if you go and see the Zionists today, you will find them that they are from different ethnic group. So Judaism is a religion, not an ethnic. And this is very important to understand. So we as a country, we does not have a problem, as a Palestinian, does not have a problem with any religion. Our problem is with colonialism, with taking our land, with killing our children, with occupying us. Anyone who comes to Palestine, he will notice that the Palestinians are very open for different religion. And in fact, some of the religions that are not exist in the whole world are exist in Palestine. For example, the Druze. The Druze religion, you will not find them just in a few countries. You find them in Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, and Palestine only. You will not find them in the rest of the world. The Baha'u'llah religion, the main place for it is Palestine. So I know maybe you have never heard about these religions, but it exists in Palestine and they live all the time in Palestine and it was okay. So we as a Palestinian, we does not have a problem with your religion. We are welcoming anyone as any religion. But at the end, you are welcome, but you are not allowed to kick the native people because of your religion or because of your thoughts. It's, again, it's a colonialism, apartheid, racist movement. It does not have any connection with what they are used. Anyway, you need to understand that when Zionist movement starts, if you go to the first meeting for them and the discussion about colonialism, you will find that they do have 4 countries or 4 areas that they was discussing which one is more suitable for to be occupied by them. So they have 2 places in Africa and one in North of America, no, South of America, and Palestine. So they sent at the beginning groups for each one of these places to study which one it will be more suitable for them, for colonialism. And at the end, they agree on occupied Palestine. So this is just tell you that they are a colonialism movement. It's not a religion movement. It's not because of religion. It's not because of any excuse that they use it. But they found that the historical myth that they have, it will help them to justify their occupation for us. So they, because of that, they choose our country. But at the end, they have the help from a colonialism country like mainly UK and USA. And the European country, they feel guilty about what they had done against the Jew, so they silence about what happened after that. They want to feel that they had done their duty. They want to give them country. In one way, they take them out from their own country, and from the other side, they will say, oh, we are nice to the Jew, we did not do anything, okay, we feel nice now, we did not harm them. So, you done as European the crime against the Jew, not us as a Palestinian. Why we need to pay your bill? Why we need to pay the price for the crimes that Europe done against Jewish by our blood? So it's at the end, it's a colonialism movement. I know that you have a lot of questions about the situation now, what is going on the mosque, what is going on in the church. So I would like to hear your question and try to answer it as much as I can. Thank you. So who would like to start with the questions? Anyone? How many of you had been to Jerusalem before? So what you notice when you go to Jerusalem? What did you notice? Your experience.
On your visit, what was your...
It was very nice. It was the people are very friendly, they're very welcoming, and you can see they are suffering. We went to Hebron, and you see the people they can't they can't come to Jerusalem. It's very difficult for them to travel around, and then there's guards everywhere, security. So it's very difficult for them. But the place itself is very nice.
So the main thing that, yes, Palestine is a very beautiful place. And we as a people, we are welcoming all people that come. But also, as you noticed, that we does not have the freedom of movement. And a lot of places are controlled completely by the Israeli police, and you need to wait on the checkpoint long time. And you are a tourist, so you have a privilege. So it does not have your privilege. So you can imagine how much it's difficult for us to move. And this is apply in all Palestinian. It does not matter what is your religion. And sometime in checkpoints you will spend, in fact in Palestine, sometimes you can't give exact day, time when you are arriving from one city to another, because you does not know how much time the checkpoint will take. Sometimes you will pass quickly, sometimes you will need 3 or 4 hours to pass a street which will not take 2 minutes from you if there was no checkpoint. Anyone else was in Jerusalem or have a question?
My question is, what is our responsibility as students to the people of Palestine?
Your responsibility. You need to come first to Palestine, to try to see, to try to understand. At least your country, you can say that your people, it's much easier for them to understand because you had been living in apartheid. So you know almost how it's the situation in Palestine. But maybe the new generation did not see what was happening here. So it will be a good education for you to understand what your parents had faced, had seen. So it will be a good experience, but also it will be a good way to learn. Does not use your buses. Try to use the public transportation. Anyway, our country is very safe from the other point. We are in danger from the occupation, but the crime is very low in our country. Okay, so it's safe to use the public transportation, to walk alone, but it's a good experience that you can see what is the checkpoint, how they will deal with you, and you will see in your eyes how they will deal with the Palestinian. You will see the restricted area. You will see how the control. You can understand more when you go the apartheid. After that, it will be the second step, how you can help to stand, to protest, to boycott, all the things that you can do to put pressure on Israel and Zionist movement at first to stop killing, because this is the priority, to stop killing us, to stop demolishing our homes. And after that, the second step is to have a freedom for us. So this is a long way, but as Nelson Mandela said, you can't in South Africa feel freedom without the freedom of Palestine. Questions?
Sisters, on this side.
Sisters, do you have any questions? Yes.
Thank you for the talk. My question is, how do we apply that knowledge in our homes, firstly, and then in our communities? So, whilst a trip across the world would be fascinating and wonderful and insightful, how do we best leave this space and apply that in our own home, here at the university, in the city?
I try to educate them by learning about Palestine more, about the Palestinian cause, about what had happened through all the revolution that the Palestinian had done since the British occupation till today. Trying to learn, even sometimes it does not need to read what we write. You can read what Zionists write. For example, if you read a book for Ben Gurion, the first Israel president, when he speaks about the war in 1948, you will be surprised from the thing that he writes, especially about what they had done in Deir Yassin. So he's not shy to write how they put one of the children in the oven in front of his family, how they opened the tummy of the dead woman to make a pit if she's pregnant with a boy or a girl. They are not shy about speaking about how they killed, what they are doing, what they had done. And it's their own books. Also, from archaeological point of view, you can read also an Israeli archaeologist, like Yisrael Felkestein, for example, which is the head of the archaeological department in Tel Aviv University, and you can read his books about that there is no archaeological evidence at all for existing or occupying Palestine by Bani Israel before 3,000 years. So you can read their own books itself and educate yourself, because sometimes when you say, okay, go to the Palestinian sources, some people will say, okay, but they are not, they are under the occupation, they are against the Zionist movement, so as they are saying the truth, okay, try to read their own books. Try to read what they had done against us in 1948. Even you can, there is a lot of videos that the Israeli themselves, they speak how they killed the people in 1948. So you can listen to them. It's also a good education to understand what they had done, and they are not shy. And even if you listen to them today, for example, now they have minister, his name is Gqeberha. You can listen to him from his youth till today, and you can see in all his videos asking for killing Palestinian. Another one, his name is Smartish, also minister today. This minister, he asking for abandoning Christian religion in Palestine. And another thing that he done a speech in France, and in the map that he put it, a map that they want to colonize Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, part from Iraq, part from Egypt. And he put it while he was in France, so he was not shy from putting this map. And as a Zionist movement, this is the country that they want to occupy it at the end. So they are not shy from that. They have a plan called 2050. Speaking about their plan, what they want to do in Jerusalem, you can see the maps, how they want to erase our cemeteries, to build hotels on top of our tombs, how they want to evacuate us from the city. They are not shy. Even again, Smartish, this crazy person, he say that in the media that Palestinians have three options. One option is to accept that they are slaves. The second option is to take money and to transfer from the country. The third option, to kill them. And he say that the world will be mad for 1 week or two after we kill the Palestinian, and after that they will forget, like what they forget what we had done in 1948. So why to care so much? Let's kill them. So it's a minister, he's saying that. Another minister, I'm not sure if she's still in this government or in the past government, she say that Palestinians are snakes and supposed to be killed when they are children. So these things is from their own mouth. So he does not need some time to read Palestinian stuff to understand what the Palestinians are suffering. It's enough to read what they are writing, what they are saying about what they had done is enough to understand the occupation that we are underneath it and the apartheid system that we are living in.
Sister Abeer, just to help us understand the struggle of over 75 years and how that struggle has been passed from generation to generation to generation. Some people, their entire lives have been in the struggle. And to keep the struggle alive, how difficult is it? And just looking at this whole spirit of sacrifice that the Palestinians have been making throughout their entire lives.
Let's say that some of the Palestinians does not know exactly what the meaning of a freedom. Because you will not understand freedom unless you travel outside of the country. And you will start seeing what the difference. Because some of us had been used to be under the occupation. And even some studies say that a good percentage from us, they have a symptom like Stockholm, because we are under occupation all the time. So you will see sometimes some sensitive from us. For example, if you was in the checkpoint and you wait, let's say, for 2 hours in the checkpoint, and you are going to collapse because of that, and one of the Israeli army that they are not allowing for you to enter, come and give you a cup of water. Oh, you say, oh, what's a wonderful army, this person, how much is a nice person. He's not a nice person. He's the same one that is stopping you from entering. But this is part from the syndrome that the Palestinian have. It's the same in Ramadan. They was not allowing for people to enter and to pray. And after that, they say that they were allowed only for women's and for men who are more than 50 to enter in a Friday day. And you will see some of the women, while they was walking, they was thankful for the police for that. Like if they are doing them a favor, and forget that they supposed to have the freedom of movement and they have the right to go to the mosque without restricted. So sometimes it's not easy to understand for the people themselves who are under occupation because of this. We had been under occupation all our life. I remember for me, the first time that I traveled outside of the country, it was for Jordan. And I see youth playing footballs at night. It was at sunset. And I was shocked how they are able to play, and they are youth and it's sunset and no one is speaking with them. They can do whatever they want. They was laughing and I was shocked. For me, it was something strange. And the first time that I was there, when I moved, I never moved without my identity card, and no one had stopped me to ask me for my identity card or where I'm going or what I'm doing. So it was really shocked for me. I was 17 in that age, and for the first time, I start saying things which is, for you it's a normal, for us is strange. And in that moment I said, Jordanian people does not appreciate what they have. In fact, a lot of people does not appreciate the freedom that they have. And they do not understand what we are under this. So it's not easy. But even that you find a lot of people fighting for freedom, dreaming about freedom, refusing the occupation. We try to keep on track, but it's not easy. It's not easy at all, because even now in South Africa, I know that after the apartheid finish, you will find some people from saying, oh, but because of the apartheid, we have nice street. You see that. It's the same. Because there is a syndrome when you are under these situations, so it's not easy. And also from the other side, we are so resistant. So it's not easy to listen for law, because all the time, generation after generation, the laws was coming from occupation. So our youth and we are against laws. So sometimes it's very difficult. Even if we have a freedom, it will be more difficult to be able to control the people and to have a law that they will respect it. And because all the time we're supposed to fight, and all the time any policeman in a uniform, that means that he's an enemy, not a helper for us. So if a child, for example, someone attacked a child, he will not go to the police. He will go for other people to ask help, but he will never go to the police to ask help. The police, they are the same person that they are arresting him, attacking him as a child. So how that he will be able to trust a police for asking a help? So it's very complicated, and you need, even after freedom, we need a lot of work to be able to help the people to go out from the mentality under occupation.
Can you elaborate a bit on the message here? Traveling from, say, Ramallah to Blues or something, do you have to identify yourself? Can you easily move around? Do you have identity?
It's not easy to move around from one city to another. All the time there are checkpoints, all the time they are checking whom you are, and sometimes the Zionist group in the settlement, they start attacking in the street. So, it's not easy at all. Even if there is a car accident, for example, and the ambulance arrive, the ambulance will take first the Zionist, even if they are less injured than you. So everything in our country is crazy. And going from one city to another, if you go without these checkpoints, for example, from Ramallah to Nablus, it will take maybe half hour. But it's a long journey for Palestinians to do it. And you are in danger. You do not know what will happen if they close the checkpoint. Sometimes some people need to sleep in the street when they close the checkpoint, and you can arrive to your home in half hour. So it's completely, and even some of the street, it's allowed for Zionists and it's not allowed for us. So it's very difficult to explain it sometimes. You need to experience it to understand what is really the life there. Any other questions? I was so glad to be with you. I hope that I was able to give you little information about what is going on and open for you a small window to see what we are suffering, and hoping that in the future you will know more and come to Jerusalem and to Palestine to understand more and more. And thank you for all of you for your coming and for your listening.
Well, once again, we'd like to thank the MSA for hosting us in this event. And just a reminder that this evening at the South End Museum, there's going to be a highly informative presentation that is going to be done by Abeer. And this presentation is a must-watch because it covers a lot of the historical background, but also looking at the current situation, particularly looking at Jerusalem, its status, Al-Aqsa, and what some of the future plans are. So it's going to be quite a highly informative session. So we would encourage, if you can make it, please attend. It's going to be at 7:30 p.m. at the South End Museum. And with that, once again, we thank the organizers. Sorry? Oh, is it 6? Okay, sorry. My apologies. Okay. It's at 6 o'clock. Okay. All right. So it's going to be at 6 p.m. So please, we'd like to see a lot of you there. All right. And once again, Jazakallah to all of you. Assalamu alaikum.